Hello, everyone. Welcome to this free training. I am so excited to have you here on how to break self limiting beliefs. I am someone that loves to help people live more consciously in their body, and I know that you're here for a reason. You resonate with this frequency, this experience of breaking beliefs. Something guided you here, and I'm excited to share how powerful belief structures are in your life and how to start living the life that you desire by breaking these self limiting beliefs. So, my name is Matt. I've been a registered nurse for over a decade, have taken my patients through crazy life experiences, heard wild stories, and helped people in their most vulnerable time. And this also inspired me to become an embodiment coach which is something I'm doing today with you guys. So, how do you overcome yourself, that part of you that stops you from living the life that you really want? Those negative stories that prevent you from experiencing the life that you want, from overcoming yourself. And it could be in the smallest things like starting a new gig, a new job, a new career, making a business decision, moving somewhere, falling in love, getting into a relationship. There's always a story that you tell yourself that stops you from living that life. So let's be honest. One thing that is certain in life doesn't get easier. It only becomes more exciting as time goes on. So this free training is not for somebody that wants to hack life and make life easier for themselves. I think life is always a experience of highs and lows, but this training will help you to see your beliefs so you can move a lot quicker through life with greater focus, which will ultimately create more happiness in your life. So who am I? And this will be a brief description about my journey. So I started being raised very religious in a Polish household. I was born in Poland, and religion was a big part of my life because in Poland, there was communism in the time that my father was around. So, religion, being Roman Catholic, helped overcome communism because if you weren't communist, you were part of the church. So, church religion was a huge thing. And my grandma introduced me to beliefs, and her faith was so powerful, and her prayer, which was her own form of beliefs, always gave her power to overcome anything. She was a woman that never feared anything. It was so strange, and I felt that from her, and it inspired me to understand how powerful she was and how powerful beliefs are and how she thanked God and all her worries just went away. So that was something that was very fascinating to me very early on. And she also introduced me to energetics. She was taught by a blind guy how to give massages, and she was able to provide a massage. And then at the end of the massage, she would take her hands and just glide down, and you just felt your nervous system just tingle if something is moving away. And she always told me this is her way of cleansing energy. And through the massages, I learned how to use a pendulum to read energy. It's something I provide in my coaching programs where I check people's chakras, the energy centers, which is energy, which is just motion, energy in motion. And that helps you to understand why your body feels specific ways when you embody yourself and where triggers are forming. So again, my grandma was a huge influence in my life, and I discovered the gift of being a healer in my own form. And on this exploration, I discovered how powerful beliefs were, what was held as truth, and the subconscious mind, how easy it is to tell us a story that doesn't serve us. So, one way to look at this is the subconscious mind, right? It's just a garden that nurtures seeds. And based on where we pour energy, whether it's negative or positive, the subconscious mind just accepts things as is. We pour our energy there, and those are the seeds that come into fruition. So if you are somebody that had a rough upbringing, you have a lot of self-limiting beliefs, maybe it's about self-love, stepping into your power, whatever it is, everybody has negative self-limiting beliefs. I think it's all part of the journey, just like we don't understand the mystery of life, whether what's going to happen afterwards. I believe it's also a mystery of how we are all humans on this earth trying to overcome ourselves. Technically, like, the greatest enemy is yourself, and that's it. So it's funny how we fall into the game of comparison. So my journey wasn't easy as well. And I wanted to talk to you guys about that as well, where I was raised post-communist era, as you guys know, by a very military-style father, which instilled a lot of self-limiting beliefs on my end. I'm thankful for the experience. I wouldn't change it for anything, but I struggled with worthiness because having a military-style father was always about do this in his way, and I wasn't generated love properly from my father technically. So I struggled with generating true self-worth from within. And this is why I'm so proud of this journey, because I've learned that I can overcome myself, create real, true self worth, not from external validation, but by nurturing and give it to myself by changing these self limiting beliefs. So, what I learned on this journey is you don't need to know what you believe in order to change it. What we need to know are the beliefs that we want to install. So, naturally, whatever belief you want to install, the old belief is going to come to the surface, and it's going to create a lot of static in your life. And one way to look at it is you have a belief that's very powerful up here, and it's generating these emotions, these experiences. And when we install the new belief, there's going to be a lot of conflicting data. And you're going to have to understand this through self-awareness that, hey, my emotions are not telling me the truth sometimes, because I am feeling anxious. I am feeling discomfortable. I am feeling like don't love myself in this moment, but that's not true. And you have to change this belief consciously, which I'll share the 3-step process shortly. And through this process, through my experience with my grandparents, being raised Polish, reading tons of books, podcasts, just studying myself, going through my rough experiences, it inspired me to become an embodiment coach. And I've trained many successful clients because I've realized that at the end of the day, the core are beliefs. And if we could work and shape our beliefs, we would create anything else in the outer experience. So let's jump into it. So what is a belief? So a belief is an idea that you hold to be true. And usually these ideas are stories, and they're blurred by the consciousness that early got installed in our childhood. So this experience is going to shape how we interpret the world, and according to our individual observations and experiences from childhood, from a logical, from an emotional standpoint, these beliefs were installed, and it created a self-limiting belief. Essentially, these beliefs are facts, their own personal system, a map of understanding the world that we live in. So essentially, they become unconscious. And as we adjust, as we hear them, as we become more self-aware, we can tweak them to our experience because we know the power of reality. So what is reality in this sense? So reality is an infinite possibility of experiences. And when a negative belief comes into our mind, and everybody has self-limiting beliefs, it filters that consciousness through that belief. Think about that like a camera lens, putting on glasses with a different shade, and it modifies that field of true potential, which is reality. And from this narrow field of vision, we create our experience to what we believe is truth. And in this case, the self-limiting beliefs stop you from living your truest self. On top of this, you have the RAS system, which we're going to go into this free training as well, which adds into this belief work, which creates the reality. So very, very fascinating stuff. So what are self-limiting beliefs? So limiting beliefs are commonly formed in childhood, as we talked about, and they're a byproduct of this experience that we had very early on. Some people say, like Carl Jung, that the subconscious mind gets created from 0 to 7 years, and this is where these beliefs come. And they're just blocks that stop us from achieving ourselves. The longer we carry on through our lives without examining and questioning what we hold as true in our minds, we just accept them as rules, and we just continue to live by them. And it stunts us from seeing this infinite possibility which exists in reality. And this is mind's way of creating this confirmation bias that alters reality, filters it out, and creates this current belief which you hold to be as truth. And the truth is that these experiences are just an aspect of reality, just a story that we are telling ourselves. So if anything you should get from this training so far is that beliefs are what we hold as truth, and these beliefs are malleable based on the story that we're going to tell ourselves. And we could rewrite that story in real time if we're self-aware enough. It's a skill. And with the skill, you're going to become better at changing your belief in real time. So here's what's certain about beliefs. And looking at the image to the right, you can see how the cycle of reality gets created. We have our experience, which is outside reality, that gets interpreted through the belief, which creates thoughts. It creates images through the RAS system, which creates feelings and moods that ultimately impacts our decision and is creating the result in your life. So if you're unhappy with the results that you're currently experiencing in life, more than likely you're having a self-limiting belief, which is stopping you from creating the life that you want. And, I believe that we're conscious beings where we have a desire that we're acting on a deeper purpose outside of us. And whenever we fight that desire through self-limiting beliefs, we create a lot of dis-ease in our body because you're fighting your natural instinct of what you should be doing, how you should be maybe living your life, how you should be following your purpose. So things to keep in mind: one, beliefs aren't true. They're just a made up story. They began as just a thought very early on, and thoughts are coming from these self-limiting beliefs that are ingrained early in childhood. As we continue to affirm these thoughts, they just become beliefs which get ingrained and become the story that we tell ourselves continuously. And going into some science, there's also the reticular activating system, the RAS system, which plays a role in how beliefs gets perceived. So you understand that the beliefs are the template of how we view reality. And now we're going to take a look at a scientific way of seeing how your body, your ears, and your eyes are looking at your outside experience to validate that belief, to make it true. So every experience leaves an impression, which is stored, it's processed in our brain. And that part of our brain is the RAS system, the reticular activating system. All this information gets consulted later on. It's like your own personal library, reference library. So the RAS system seeks out information that validates our belief. And our belief filters the world through the parameters that you give it. So your RAS system doesn't know good from right, just like a belief. It's not good or bad. It just is. It's whatever the subconscious mind is telling your conscious mind to look for, to seek. So this RAS system has a parameter that the belief gives it, and it shapes our experience through that lens. So if you think you're bad at giving speeches, you probably are. If you believe you work efficiently, you most likely are. And the RAS systems helps you to see that. It's going to influence our actions. And there's a combination of neuromodulators that's in charge of our brain, and these neuromodulators through the ears and the eyes take in information from the outside world to shape exactly the experience that we want. So it has a lot to do with the pursuits of focus, to be in pursuit. So if you're somebody that can't sit still, you're always pursuing something, or maybe you're somebody that's always in gratitude and appreciation, but you're less focused on getting actions externally. Maybe you're somebody that focuses more on stress about particular things, the way the outside world is going to play out. Whatever the case might be, your RAS system is going to take that template to create that aspect of reality. One way to look at it, it's like a book. It's a book with different covers, and these different covers are your templates, and it's just cueing in the background. Whatever your consciousness thinks, it's going to be created like that. And these are the templates which reinforces what you believe. So if we want to create a positive change in our life, we must install new beliefs over our existing limiting beliefs. That's all there's to it. So you have a current belief, and everybody has current beliefs. We need to simply just install new beliefs in real time and continuously reinforcing our conscious mind that this is truth. So then over time, it gets ingrained into the subconscious mind. So the next thing in this free training, we're going to go over these 3 steps on how to change your self-limiting belief. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to catch this limiting belief, identify it. So this is done through self-awareness, This is also done through embodiment, which is being very attuned with your body to see where your energies, where your emotions are. And this is something that I extensively cover in my coaching programs. But once you identify the narrative, the story, you're going to question it. What actions are created by this thought, by this belief? And we need to create space between this emotion. What is this action or whatever you're thinking? How is this going to act out into the real world? So the first step is to shift your emotions. So when you embody your body, you're going to create space, right, between the stimuli and the response. You're going to create space so then you could say, hey, I'm not triggered by this to the degree I have to act out, shout out, become impulsive. I can create space and see the decision that I want to make. So let's just say, let's use self-love as an example. So if you have a belief that you don't love yourself from early childhood, your father, your mother never told you you're good enough, you're always struggling with self-worth, a lot of times you're going to have an experience, an event, maybe out in public, in a relationship, and you're going to feel unworthy. Well, that's a belief that you have about yourself, right? It's not truth. So in this first step, you identified that you're not feeling good enough. I don't love myself in this moment here. If you are that self-aware, and we have to change the emotion consciously to the opposite one of what the belief is generating. So if you're not feeling worthy, you need to tell yourself, I am worthy in the moment. We have to intentionally feel the opposite belief because we're installing a new belief in real time, correct? And this is going to help generate this new belief. So we know that we don't love ourselves. This is the example in real time. And we know how love feels. It could be an emotion you could feel yourself and embody, or you can envision in using your imagination to say, this is how love feels. Maybe you feel snug, warm. There's warmth in your heart, in your stomach, wherever that is. Go ahead and feel that emotion. And how would you show up in the world without this belief, this old belief? And we're going to intentionally try to install this new belief here. So what action would this new belief have you take? So if you're somebody that's struggling with getting outside your comfort zone, maybe you don't want to approach someone and you're nervous. Well, if you're going to believe you're confident, I'm going to act this way. So step 2 is almost looking at this infinite possibility of how this could play out. And in the second step, you're going to shift your emotions, to shift your imagination. You're going to turn your imagination to the direction away from the old belief and into the new. You're going to use your imagination to say, these events are possible. And in step 3, you're going to embody this new belief. So you're going to feel worthy. You're going to feel confident. You want to consciously reassure yourself by saying that this undesirable belief is just an idea about reality, not about the reality as a whole. It's only just an aspect. Because in step 3, we want to realize that ideas and beliefs are not stationary. Emotions and imagination are going to shift them one way or another based on beliefs that are going to either reinforce what we believe or invalidate them. And this is how you slowly begin to write beliefs. I know this is a lot to take in. And again, for people that are not fully self-aware, maybe this is going to take time. Maybe you're going to be someone that's going to be hanging out late night, journaling about your day, and you're going to journal about a situation and you acted a different way. What's beautiful, regardless if you're journaling, meditating, reflecting, maybe you're in real time, you're going to notice that I had a self-limiting belief. I could have took a different action. I could have generated a different experience, but I limited myself because I didn't feel worthy enough. I didn't love myself enough. Because the first step is awareness and identifying the story. At first, you might not notice that that experience was limiting, but 3 hours later, you will. You reflect. So then when this situation arises again, then you're going to feel a lot more confident, a lot more in your power to change this belief in real time to generate a different experience. So again, the third step out of everything after you change your emotion because you had a limiting belief, you're going to use your imagination to say this is possible. And you're going to say that this undesirable belief is just an idea about reality, not aspect of reality itself. And you're going to, again, understand that beliefs change one direction or another because they're not stationary to either serve us or invalidate us. So it's either you're working with yourself or you're working against yourself. And one way to identify a self-limiting belief is understanding your core language. What is the language that you're expressing yourself? What is the internal dialogue in your mind? Are you saying, I'm not, I can't do this, I don't have, it's always been this way? So just feel how those words sound. When I say, I wanted to go to that music festival, but I felt like I'm going to feel uncomfortable being around a lot of people. I was already limiting myself because I already had a belief that I can't be around a lot of people, that I'm going to feel anxious, or I don't have the confidence to become a coach. Again, is that just imposter syndrome? You feel like you're not good enough. You're going to need more training, more books, more podcasts, right? So you have to just be very understanding of how easy your inner dialogue is going to influence you because again, you're operating on the subconscious mind. That's where beliefs are stored. So, a couple tips for you guys here is to understand what beliefs are and maybe reflect at the end of the day of how you operated in the day, and where your limits were, how you gave away your power, your truth by limiting yourself. Or maybe start in the beginning of the day and visualize and tell yourself how you're going to have a specific action, whether you are going to have a presentation at work or at school. Well, you could visualize how you're going to feel in your power, that you're going to do good. And again, when the time comes to give that presentation, you might be limiting yourself. But now, because you've visualized that you're going to give a great speech, you realize in real time when you're about to present when that limiting belief comes in. And again, in real time, we have to identify it so then we can go to step 2 and create an emotion that you are confident and consciously reassure yourself that I am ready for this speech. I'm going to give a great speech, not that I can't. So again, this is all about self-awareness to realize where you are limiting yourself. And with that, you could rewrite the script of who you are and change the story that you tell yourself. So again, this was a quick free training on how to take 3 steps on how to change your beliefs in real time. I believe everybody can live life that they would truly want, the realist, most free expression of themselves, to live the life that they want, but they just have to understand how limiting they are in the moment by self-limiting beliefs. So again, the quality of your life is a quality of your thoughts. Just be very aware of where your thoughts are going, where your focus is going, and where you're giving away your true self-worth. And on top of this free training, you have the ability to book a free 30-minute master call with me that's included in this training. All you have to do is just exit out of this video and check out the sign up link below. I believe that signing up for this free 30-minute call, you're going to be able to find out where your self-limiting beliefs are. So if you come on this free training, I'm going to give you specific situation and explore how we can work together to help you achieve your goals. You're going to be able to get tips in real time on how you can start working on your goals in real time, so we could dial in where that self-limiting belief is. And I'll offer you some ideas of what we can do today to start getting started. So if you are somebody that's interested, go ahead and sign up below. I would love to connect with you, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you again. Thank you for this, signing up for this free video, free training. I appreciate you. I'm grateful for these 25 minutes that you're able to hop on here out of your day. Appreciate it. Have an amazing day. Peace and love, guys.